FTR, let's get you the updates just days after the India-China skirmish that was reported at the Tawang region of the LAC. Politics has now taken center stage. While the Congress and the other opposition parties move a German motion over China's aggression in Parliament to stall the question hour, the centre meanwhile lashed out at the Congress. Union Home Minister Amit Shah led the charge of the Congress-China tango, alleging that the Grand Old Party was jittery as the Parliament's question hour was supposed to discuss the issue of alleged Chinese funding for the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. He further demanded that the Congress must clarify why in the peak of the Galwan skirmish, when it comes to the Gandhis holding a secret meeting with the Chinese envoy back in 2017, Shah also reminded the Congress's secret MOU that was signed with the Chinese Communist Party back in 2008. Listen in.
एक इंच जमीन पर भी कोई कब्जा नहीं कर सकता। 5 नंबर का प्रश्न देखकर मैं इनकी चिंता समझ गया। 5 नंबर के प्रश्न है राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के FCRA रजिस्ट्रेशन को रद्द करने के बाद कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1 करोड़ 35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था। चूंकि FCRA के कानून और उसकी मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं था, जिस वक्त गलवान के अंदर हमारे सेना के वीर जवान चीनियों से भिड़ रहे थे, उस वक्त चीनी दूतावास के अधिकारियों को कौन रात्रि भोज दे रहा था?
Meanwhile, the Congress party soon hit back with a flurry of tweets and reactions, firing at least 7 questions at the BJP. The Congress raised the question on the Prime Minister's meeting with Xi Jinping in the past and also questioned the links between the BJP and the Chinese Communist Party. The Congress also raked up a delegation-level meeting of the BJP and the RSS back in 2009. Listen into the counter-attacks from the Congress's fight when it comes to the Union Home Minister's scathing attack.
राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को अगर कोई पैसा दिया, वो इकोनॉमिक टाइज को कैसे इंप्रूव करना है उसकी स्टडी के लिए दिया। और फाउंडेशंस पूरे विश्व से लगातार अलग अलग जगह से पैसे लेती हैं, सार्वजनिक पटल पे होता है वो। लेकिन इंडिया फाउंडेशन और विवेकानंद फाउंडेशन के चीन से क्या संबंध है, उसका खुलासा कीजिए गृह मंत्री जी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी जब चीन की कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी से मिलने 14 लोग गए तो क्या तय हुआ? यह तय हुआ कि दोनों विश्व की सबसे बड़ी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैं, इनका अलायंस होना चाहिए और एक ग्लोबल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज अलायंस बनना चाहिए। हमने तो नहीं कहा साहब ने क्या MOU साइन करके आए। चीन की वो कौन कौन सी कंपनियां हैं जिन्होंने PM केयर फंड में पैसा दिया और क्यों दिया, बताइए।
The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation donation is not the cause of the Chinese intrusion in Arunachal Pradesh.
Ridiculous and baseless allegation. This shows that both the ministers are at opposite ends, because the defense minister has claimed himself that China has illegally occupied Indian territory. Home minister continued to mention that the Chinese have occupied not a single inch. So this is a deliberate strategy to hide the fact that for the past 4 days, this government was concealing the truth from the people of India.
Well, amid the political blame game, even as the news on India and China soldiers clashing at the LAC makes big headlines and rocks the parliament in the national capital, Times Now is the first and the only channel to report and get you the ground reports from the LAC in Arunachal. Times Now bringing you all of the updates, insight and news reports from the ground in the Tawang sector, which has in recent seen the emergence of this latest flashpoint that was reported near the LAC.
While trying to find out that what are the reasons because of which the Chinese rattle is the construction work which is going on in Arunachal Pradesh. We are en route towards Bomdila, and this is a route which leads towards Tawang. Tawang, the area where the standoff has been continuing, and as you can see in my behind, there are several tunnels which are being constructed by India so that the route can be easier for the troops for further any kind of movement. We know that the India government has already constructed a big airport, a big runway, which is helpful for the taking off and landing of heavy aircraft. And Chinese, the PLA and the Chinese agencies, the security agencies, have been keeping a close watch on every development. Reports suggest that there have been series of attempts by the Chinese to abduct those nationals who are staying in this side of India, as well as those people who have been close to the border. But later to that, this kind of insurgent attempt by the Chinese and trying to have a face-off is certainly which is hit on the morale of the youth of Tawang. We are here in Tawang, and as you can see, the weather is certainly changing. The Indian flag is flying high on this particular tower, which is suggesting that India has been totally dominant of this area. What do you have to say about the recent attempt? Because what we have seen that there's quite a lot of development which is being seen here inside Tawang area, and the roads are also pretty good.
सर मुझे तो ये बोलना चाहूँगी कि हमारा ये अरुणाचल में ये तवांग में बहुत ही डेवलप है और बहुत ही अच्छा जगह है और इसमें चाइनीज लोग अटैक करने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो मेरे तरफ से यही दुआ है कि और ऐसा ना होने से ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। और हमारा इंडियन आर्मी लोग उन सभी के साथ जो चाइनीज लोग हमारे तवांग को अटैक करने के लिए जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं उन लोग के साथ हमारा ये तवांग के जो हमारे बॉर्डर पे जो रहते हैं इंडियन आर्मी लोग, वो लोग हमारा प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बहुत अच्छी तरह से फाइट कर रहे हैं। तो मेरी तरफ से यही दुआ है कि भगवान उन लोग को हमेशा सुरक्षा रखे और हमारा तवांग को सेफ रखे।
भगवान सुरक्षित रखे, तवांग को सेफ रखे। क्या इमोशंस आते हैं जब आप सुनते हैं कि उस तरफ के लोग हमारे सैनिकों को परेशान कर रहे हैं? क्या चलता है दिमाग में?
तो अभी सर वैसे हम तो क्या बोलेगा सर, वैसे तवांग तो जगह तो बहुत सुंदर है। अभी चाइना का नजर इसमें लगता है सर, ये इसमें नजर है उसका सर। अभी इसलिए बार बार अटैक करते सर वो चीन जो। तो क्या अभी कल जैसे में सर ऐसे कुछ हुआ कि चाइना तो चीन जो आप इंडिया में आप अभी हम लोग का तवांग अरुणाचल उसमें तवांग वो किया सर, उसने अटैक किया सर। तो उसका बारे में हम तो ज्यादा बोल नहीं सके सर, वैसे ज्यादा बोलने जानते भी।
यहाँ के लोकल्स में क्या रहती है, इमोशंस क्या रहती है, एकदम पेट्रियोटिक भावना है इंडिया को लेकर के? अब चाइना परेशान करता है तो गुस्सा आता है लोगों को?
तो गुस्सा तो बहुत आता है सर, तो गुस्सा तो बहुत आएगा सर यहाँ का लोग भी, लेकिन कुछ कर नहीं पाता सर उसको। तो अब द इंडिया का फौज है इसलिए तो सर उसके लिए सेफ्टी है अभी तक।
फौज के साथ खड़े हैं तट पर?
हाँ वो फौज के साथ ही है सर।
We heard these are the sentiment which is coming out from those people, those youth who are residents of Tawang. With video Amit Shah reporting from Tawang along with the LAC for the Times Network.
Well, that is Priyank Tripathi, the only channel that Times Now is getting you the latest insights and updates and getting you those live updates from Tawang. We have Priyank who is joining us live right now as well. Priyank, you have been going around and getting a sense from the ground and also speaking to the people there, how there is full and committal support that is coming in from the people as well as they support the Indian Army over this latest skirmish that has been reported.
Good morning, Amitabh. Why wouldn't they? Because the kind of development, the kind of patriotism, patriotic feeling which they have with India is certainly something which is coming into picture. This area was certainly was the remotest area of the country. This is very close to the LAC, and this has been the area which has seen a series of development from the Chinese side which has come up, and they have been those people who have faced the brunt of being so close to the Chinese border. But instead of that, they have contributed a lot in the development of the country. We are reporting from Tawang, and we are very close to the LAC. And as you can see, the statue of Lord Gautam Buddha is also establishing, along with the Indian flags, that how Tawang people and how Arunachalis have been totally standing with India. But over the period of time, the manner in which China has been trying to escalate the situation, where they want to have a fight-like situation and they want to threaten India, is something which is very much hitting the morale of these people in Tawang. I was talking to the school children also, Amitabh, very shortly. We will also be bringing those ground report. It is feeling such I felt so proud that all those children who are in the remote part of the country have been singing national anthem, and everyone was chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai. When I asked them that whether someone of them would like to join the Indian Armed Forces, says more than 80% children raise their hand. So that is the kind of sentiment which these people have. But while talking about the ground situation, certainly India is certainly not in a position to allow any kind of attempt by the Chinese to once again escalate this kind of situation. That's why a close watch is being kept on them. Although it's pretty cloudy and the visuals would not be so much clear, but just behind this mountain is the area where this standoff happened. This is the area very close to Tawang, and few kilometers, if you talk about the aerial distance, is the location where the Chinese attempted to, enter this area. These pictures on the wall of, Tawang are clearly establishing that how these people have been so much close to the culture of the country. But the sentiment is certainly something which is not gonna work too much on the ground, because the Indian government and the Indian armed forces are also prepared to give a tough fight to the Chinese PLA. Because over the period of time, what we have seen that in the last few months, there have been 4 attempts in this particular area of Tawang by the PLA to have this kind of situation where they wanted to enter in the Indian land. On the other side, if you talk about the data, since 2021 September, there have been 15 to 16 attempts by the Chinese PLA to do the same thing. The country has been briefed by the Honorable Raksha Mantri in the Parliament, but the PLA is certainly silent about it. The Chinese Defense Minister is also silent about it. So which is clearly giving a picture that the China wants to hush up the matter. They have been engaging in these kind of dirty tricks, but when it comes to giving a clear-cut answer to the world, they have been so much silent that they have not spoken about it. Imagine the Home Minister, the Raksha Mantri, everyone came on record. Everything has been briefed to the people of the country. But the Communist Party, which is ruling in China, does not want the truth to come out before their people. That's why they have been hiding these things. So we will keep on reporting from the ground, Amita, bringing all these latest updates for our viewers who have been watching very patiently, who have been watching every minute development which is happening with respect to the border area of their country. The line of actual control is something which is very important and significant for the prosperity and sovereignty of the country. So we will be reporting from the ground zero, and we will be bringing all the latest updates from here so that the Chinese should also know.
A big salute also to our forces there, the troops that belong to 3 different battalions, we are told, including Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, the Jat Regiment and the Sikh Light Infantry as well, who were present at the location of the last week clash that was reported, and the Chinese tried to unilaterally change the status quo of the area. So a big salute also to our forces there who are defending their motherland, Priyank.
Certainly. Yes, certainly. Big salute to our forces, because if you talk about the sequence of incident, let me once again tell you to our viewers that what has happened, because of which there is this information is so much of news. Everyone has been talking about. The senior ministers have already briefed the parliament. Actually, there was a deliberate attempt by the Chinese PLA to gather once again and engage in this kind of situation, which can result to fight in between the Indian Army and the PLA. So over the period of a few months since September 2021, the Chinese PLA had attempted to enter in the Indian territory for 14 to 15 times, but they could not do that deliberate attempt of making temporary structure on 9th December. On 9th at around 9:30, the Indian Army spotted a group of PLA moving towards their territory. Since this area is not, marketed, or this does not have any kind of fencing, the PLA many a times attempt to enter in the Indian side. When they were stopped, they went back, and when they were pushed back by the Indian armed forces, they went back and came up with huge number of PLA personnel from their Kona County, which is the headquarters of this region, and then they wanted to have a scuffle, but they behave in a very bad manner. An army which is being praised, obviously Chinese army is has
we are talking about the 2 biggest armies there in the world in the clash that has been reported, and quickly disengaged as well, because in a statement that was made in the parliament by the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, saying that it was the Chinese attempt that was contested by our troops in a firm and a resolute manner. Priyank, will come back to you. That is Priyank Tripathi, who's reporting live from the Tawang sector.